So Richard and his team and my team, we were collaborating this summer in terms of Richard's vision for integrators taking marketing more seriously. And we came up with this fun idea that you see in your green folder there, and that is, let's try to take a comprehensive look at the entire Azione Unlimited membership. Let's define some parameters regarding their website and their online presence, and let's ultimately pass-fail them across a number of metrics. Let's let them see how the group, I'm not going to put anybody's individual data up here on the screen, but I am going to put the collective data for the entire group up on the screen. So that is what we've done. This was over a 100-hour project for my team. It was fun. It's some of the most insightful data we've ever collected holistically across a group of integrators. And let's go ahead and jump right into it. So what we've done, we've gone ahead and looked at 12 different parameters that we are grading you. We're going to give you an A through F on your online presence. And then we went ahead and added a couple of extra credit factors that it didn't go into your grade, but maybe you were deficient, you don't have a blog, or you aren't updating your blog, but maybe you have custom videos on your website. So in fact, we could add credit back to you. So that's overall. I'm going to move this so no one that is guilty will feel bad about their data being up on the screen. And what we've got in front of you is ultimately report cards. So feel free, you can hide them or you can show them to others at your table. And here's how everyone fared. Azione, we audited 201 Azione members. There were a whopping 26 A's. There are 20 A's in this room. Raise your hand if you're an A. Whoop, whoop. All right. Give those guys a round of applause. Raise your hand if you're an F. All right. So we had 11 B's, 17 C's, 16 D's, and 132 F's. Right? Isn't that fun?
Grading on a belt?
No, this is not so much. 10-point scale. Now, this does not mean you need a new website. In many cases, this means that there are simply factors that you need to take into account, such as maybe your website does not have an SSL certificate. Right? So your website now is getting flagged as a security risk, but you can simply go to your host, get that fixed, and it can be resolved very quickly. Right? So I'm going to go through all of these parameters and help you understand the different points or factors that we were looking at you guys from. So first of all, and this is the overall Azione membership as a whole. So 98% of you, your name was easy to recognize at the top of your website. Believe it or not, there were some websites, a few of you, that we could not even tell who you were or what your company name was. All right? There were actually a few of you that do not have websites. But for the most part, you guys did great there. Attractive imagery. This has to do with the premise that most of you are getting the majority of your work through referral. So those referrals, when they hear your name, many of them are ultimately going to your website. When they land on your website, are they very quickly able to identify the business that you're in and the value proposition that you offer? Beautiful imagery. You guys are all in beautiful projects every day of the week. Featuring that imagery right on the front page of your website is a great idea. As a group, you guys are actually doing pretty good there, 93%. Your location, meaning your address or your city, is identified both in the header and the footer of your website. This has to do with your visitor. When they go to your website, do they quickly understand that you service their community? When people are looking for a service provider, such as you guys and gals, they want to know that in fact you are able to service them. And if they are in Erie, Pennsylvania, and you are in Chicago, well, that's not exactly going to be a great fit. So it is simply helpful to make it easy for them. It is also a way to aid Google. You want to help Google know where your business is located. There's a concept called NAP consistency, name, address, phone number consistency across the internet and across directories. One of the basic parameters is make sure your address is consistently defined, or the areas that you serve are consistently defined on your website. You guys pretty much failed that one. Contact form. 83% of you do have a contact form on your website. This has to do with being easy to reach. If someone has landed on your website, make it easy for them to know how to get in touch with you. Your phone number listed in the header of your website and or a contact form are great best practices. As a group, you guys did pretty good. That's a B. Project galleries. This is one of the, for myself running a marketing agency, it is a sad state of affairs as I go and talk to integrators. So few of you actually photograph your projects with any regularity, right? And when I look at Google Analytics data and we look at the pages that are most visited on all of your websites, it is always your project galleries. Your customers or your prospects that are checking you out are going to your website and they want to see examples of your work. They do not necessarily want to go read a technical definition of what multi-room video is, right? Many of you have very technical websites with a lot of content that is very much about the nuts and bolts of what you do and not so much about the emotion that your installations inspire in them. Pictures and videos of your projects is one of the biggest, I won't say easiest because it takes some logistics. It is one of the most important things you could do to improve your marketing right away. 61% of you have galleries on your website. Embedded online reviews. The reality is, the way the internet is working today, if your prospect that has heard about you, you've been referred, they don't know you yet, what do many of them do? Many of them, at least, this is no crazy SEO stuff, I'm saying many of them simply go to the internet and type in your business name. Would you guys agree with me that some of your customers do that? If you have online reviews from Google, from Houzz, from Facebook, from HomeAdvisor, you name it, all of those reviews right now are going to page one of internet search. Okay? The majority of you are not paying attention to this fact. So the way you can test this, type in your company name into Google and see what shows up. For many of you, no reviews show up or bad reviews show up. So there are ways you can actively take advantage or control of that situation and reverse it. It's very cost effective. It is one of the easiest things you can do to significantly change your online presence. And if you are working on your online presence with your reviews, then embed that content into your website so that all of your visitors can see what other customers think about you. That's going to help them make a buying decision. SEO configured blog. Believe it or not, I was actually pretty surprised by it. It was so fun to see all this data. Only 27% of you have an SEO configured blog. Some of you have a blog, I give you credit for that, but you do not have all the modules turned on so that it in fact is not very visible to Google or the internet. So you might feel, there were definitely some people in this room that had active blogs, and I credit you for that. But if that content is not SEO configured with tags and categories and proper H1 tags, proper geotags embedded in the content, when someone is typing into search, they simply can't find that content. You still benefit by your visitors being able to navigate to that. You still could have your emails linked to that. You still could have social to link to that. But you're missing 50% of the traffic if it's not SEO configured. And then if you have a blog and that content is not being regularly updated, you're missing the boat. It doesn't look terribly great when someone visits your website, visits your blog, and sees the last piece of content was added in 2015. That doesn't look very good. In inverse, if you work on your blog content, I see I have 5 minutes left. If you work on your blog content, now that is the most powerful thing you can do to improve your website's visibility and search. There is nothing we have found in the internet that any marketing agency is going to offer you more powerful than original content that is SEO configured, added to your website. So you guys can write it, you can hire someone to write it, you can hire us to write it, but write original content. Be easy to search. This is simple. You can go to Google, type in Google Mobile Friendly Test. Drop in your website URL. It is a pass-fail. In April 21st of 2015, Google changed the rules online. If you do not have a search engine friendly website by their definition, then your website is not showing up in organic results from mobile devices. And about 60% of the internet right now is coming through mobile devices. So many of these customers on their phones, their iPads, late at night are trying to research. You're not going to show up if you're not a search engine friendly website. SSL certificates, let me just see here, search engine friendly SSL certificates. The rules changed in July of 2018. You are now, if you do not have an SSL certificate on your website is being flagged as a security risk. This is a very quick change. You don't need a new website to fix this. You need to go to your host or go to your web developer and you need to get this resolved. This is also a Google ranking factor. XML sitemaps. There is simply a technique that significantly increases the visibility of your website online, and that is having what's called an XML sitemap and having it native in the navigation at the footer of your website. Only 25% of you have that. And then lastly, relevant page titles. This is a characteristic of SEO configuration. Only a handful of you have addressed that. Well, I take that back. 73% of you have addressed that, 25% of you have not. Now, these are some of the extra credit factors, right? Embedded custom video. When you get that visitor onto your website, one of the measurements of success is that, let me cancel that call. One of the factors of success is that, in fact, you have video, and video is a great way to keep that visitor engaged and on your website, which statistically increases the probability of a conversion. So many of the manufacturers in this room have great video. That qualifies. Embed that content into your website. They've got it sitting on YouTube or Vimeo. It's a very straightforward process to get that embedded. And even better is develop your own custom video content. Live chat. Live chat is magic if you have website traffic. If you have website traffic, the rule of thumb is if you have about 400 visitors or more a month on your website, integrators as a group generally have between 200 and 1,000 visitors a month. Some of your top performing sites have over 1,000, maybe between 1,000 and 3,000 visitors a month. If you have over 400, that seems to be a magic break point, then live chat on your website will exponentially increase the engagements on your website in the neighborhood of 10 to 20x. It is pretty awesome, and there are absolutely some evangelists in this room that have significantly changed their lead gen and their customer service by putting live chat on their site. And then interactive floor plans. This again is about engagement and giving your visitors great content. Only a handful of you have this. So, also in your pack is an independent audit. If you said, hey, Ron's trying to make us feel bad, there is an independent audit from a different service. In some cases, you're going to see that grade is lower. In some cases, you're going to see it's higher. They're looking at fewer factors, only around 5 or 6 factors versus our 15 factors. But that way you have an independent audit as well. And this is in your pack. Thank you very much. And I'm honored to be here. Thank you. Thank you.